Hey, what is up, guys? I'm back with another video, and in this video I'm going to be comparing every video device that I have for recording. Now what I have here and what I'm recording with right now is my Canon Rebel EOS SL3, and then right below it is my Logitech webcam, and then to the left is my iPhone XS Max, and then over here to the right is my GoPro Hero 8. Now I want to do a comparison in low lighting, especially because with my room, as you can see, I have darker walls, so I have really bad lighting, and right now I'm using a GoPro light as a light source. I even have a lamp over here which I'll turn on real quick, but that's way too bright. But you can see how it changed all the videos. See how it darkened the background really bad on my Canon camera. But anyways, let's go through the specs a little bit on the Canon. With the Canon right now, I'm using the 18 by 55 millimeter lens, which is what comes with it. It can go up to 4K. I think it can do 4K 24 frames per second. It can do 1080p 60 and 1080p 30, and it can also do 720p 30 and 720p 60. All around, it's a pretty good camera, but if you're going to use it as a webcam, like I'm demonstrating in this video, unfortunately you can't charge it while you're streaming or recording with it. So whenever you use your cam link, if you need to know how to use it as a webcam, I have a video on it on my channel. But when you use the cam link and plug the cam link into it, and you start using it as a webcam, there's no way to charge it, because unfortunately you can't just plug in the cable to it and then it just charge up like other cameras. You have to physically take the battery out and put it into like a battery pack charger and plug it into the wall. And if you have the battery door open at all, because I was going to buy a dummy battery that has a charger piece that plugs into it and plugs into the wall, but if you get something like that, unfortunately if you have the battery like door open, the camera won't turn on. So with the Canon, if you're looking to buy a camera like this, I would recommend going for another camera at the same price. This would probably be your most expensive approach right here. This camera is $600, and I would say you can get other cameras. Like, I know there's a Sony, I'm trying to think of the name, like Sony, I think it's like the Sony A700 or something like that. I'll put it on the screen if I get it wrong. And there's also the Panasonic Lumix G7. I think they're both around the same price, $500 to $600, like this camera. And honestly, I think the Sony camera will probably be the best as far as video quality. And the Lumix is pretty good, but unfortunately the coloring is kind of flat sometimes, which you can go in and correct that. But next off is probably going to be my Logitech webcam, which in my opinion is probably the worst of all of them. The Logitech webcam is recording in 1080p 30 frames per second. Everything is in 1080p 60 except for the webcam, because the webcam will not go into 60. This is the Logitech C922 Pro Stream, and as you can see, in a lower lighting setting, it's really not that great. I mean, it's not awful, but it's really not that great. And the frame rate, you can really see is a big difference between the other ones. It's in 1080p 30 frames per second. It can also do 720p 60, I think. It cannot go higher than that. It has no 4K capability. And then on to the next one is my iPhone XS Max, which I am currently using the front camera, which isn't much different than the back camera, but I'm using the front camera for, and it can do 4K 60 frames per second with the back camera, 1080p 60 frames, 1080p 30, and then 720p 60 and 720p 30. And currently we are in 1080p 60 with the front camera. It can also do 720p 60 with the front camera as well. And other than that, I mean, that's about it for the iPhone. iPhone's not too bad. The back camera might be a little bit better, but I just want to use the front camera so that I can see myself in it. It has a pretty good picture quality, but right now it looks a little lackluster in my lighting because I have bad lighting. This video is mostly for people that have bad lighting. I will remake this video whenever I move into our new house. I made a video talking about us moving into a new house, and I'll have a much better bedroom with a much better background, better lighting, and I should just my video quality should overall just get 100 times better. I mean, I think that my Canon camera really is better than any of these if you compare them, but it's not really the best camera to get if you're looking for a DSLR camera. And I could have went with a bunch of different options, because I found out that you can only record up to 30 minutes at a time with the Canon SL3. And with like the Sony camera and like Lumix and stuff like that, it has unlimited record time. Well, some Sony cameras, but all the Lumix cameras have an unlimited record time. And there's some that were in my price range, and I didn't get them because I didn't do enough research. Back to the Logitech, one thing that I am forgetting to mention with the Logitech webcam is that it was $100. It's probably still around that price because I heard they dropped down to $50, but then they shot back up. So that would be probably your least expensive option right there. And then my iPhone, of course, was probably around $1,000 or so for the XS Max. And then on to the GoPro, which was $400, which is probably your second most expensive. Well, I guess technically the iPhone would be the most expensive, but you can kind of say free because everybody pretty much has an iPhone. But with the GoPro, I am recording in 1080p 60 linear view. I have the hyper smoothing off because I feel like it kind of affects the quality a little bit, and I had it all the way up to boost, so I brought it back down. As you can see, the GoPro, I really can't see what's going on because it doesn't have a front-facing display, but it really doesn't do great in lower lighting situations. But overall, if you had good lighting, the GoPro would be a perfect option, and you can also use it as a webcam connected directly to your PC, and you can take the battery out and run it like as much as you want. So pretty much what you do is you plug in your cam link, and then you plug in a charger cable into it that goes into the wall, and then you can take your battery out, which helps it from getting too hot. You take the battery out of your GoPro, and then you just start recording just like you would with your Canon camera or any other type of webcam that you're using, and it'll just stay on, record as much as you want it to. It won't go off. It shouldn't get too hot. Pretty much it does technically charging while you have it plugged up, so it'd be a great option to me. It'd probably be the best option at the cheapest price other than a webcam. But if you are going to go for a webcam like this, I would recommend getting I found one the other day. It's an Avermedia PW513. It is $250. It goes for I think it can do 4K 30 frames per second and 1080p 60 frames per second, 1080p 30 frames per second. And it is a beautiful webcam. I've seen the 4K capabilities, and it is amazing. But I would honestly say that's probably the best webcam to get. I've seen the 1080p 60 frames because I like to use 1080p 60. And there's a few problems with the 60 frames. It's a little fuzzy in the video that I watched. But other than that, I think that'll about wrap up the video. Tell me which one you like the most in the comments between my Canon Rebel EOS SL3, my Logitech C922 ProStream, my iPhone XS Max, and then my GoPro Hero 8. But yeah, other than that, I do hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys next time.